Hey, everybody, welcome back to our first episode of season 2 of Blurred's Eye View After Dark. I'm your host, Chris Fury. With me is my guest, Mr. Deacon from Mr. Deacon Experience. What's going on, Mr. Deacon?
What's good? Circle of Nerds is in the building. What's
Yes, they was down in the Steel City Con earlier today, so shout out to the Circle of Nerds crew, Tommy D, Jay Quell, and Mr. Deacon, of course, Louie and their new edition Ventures. So shout out to those guys. Great group of guys. We are talking about the first episode of possibly the first of another season. I don't know yet. Just it's too soon to tell. But it's Disney Plus. It's the Disney Plus series Loki. We finally get to find out what exactly happened to Loki after that glorious exit from Endgame. And that's where it literally picks up at from is that entire scene from Endgame. And it literally just picks up from that scene, and it's all Banner's fault, you know, because they could have pulled that off if he hadn't been mad about going down the stairs. So,
you trying to blame it on Banner?
Oh, Banner knew better. He just couldn't take it. They were at maximum weight limit. You know, his ass got to be about 1,600 tons.
Okay.
He was way past the limit. So. There's a lot. It's a lot to unfold in the series. There's a lot of questions, definitely, and there are a lot of moments that stood out in the series. So I'll start with you, Deacon. What stood out for you best for the show so far in this first episode, and what's not only stood out for you, but what are you looking forward to?
You know what stood out? I think it was hilarious. Is the fact that Loki had the Tesseract, and you realize that magic ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And dude was like, that blew me. He was like, oh, and he looked in that drawer and seen all them other Infinity Stones. It was like, yo, we use these for paperweights. I was like, damn, you know. And then he started to. That's what really blew my mind is like how powerful is the TVA?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where magic is nothing, where you have these stones that can wipe out a universe. They get here and ain't shit. That was the main thing.
They can't really work outside their timeline.
Yeah. So
because that's where they exist. TVA exists outside any timeline. So those stones were essentially useless to anybody or anything that he's just looking at the Tesseract like he's tossing this thing around like a baseball now because he's like, I can't do shit with it. You know.
I know. I tried it several times.
I was like, I can't do anything. Besides that moment standing out, you know, the fact that I've always wondered about Owen Wilson being a good choice for this role as Mobius.
Okay.
And I gotta say, impressed from what I've seen because he's playing it very straight.
No doubt.
You know, I was expecting him like, wow. I was expecting a lot of that, and I didn't get none of that. So I'm like, you know, but not only that, I think the thing that really stands out besides the Tesseract being useless outside of the timeline is when Loki's in the room, you know, after he's made his supposedly grand escape and realizes he just is of no use, and he goes back to the holding cell or holding room or interrogation room, I guess you can call it, and he's playing everything that hasn't happened to him yet, to this version of Loki, but what we've already seen, you know, and one of the scenes that they play is the scene between him and his mother that was in, was it Thor, the Dark World, and Thor, the Dark World, which if you're not familiar with those scenes, is because they're deleted scenes from that film. So they actually repurposed those deleted scenes for this film or for this show. And the scenes he has between him and his mother, and then the scene where he sees Thor when Thor is talking to him in Ragnarok.
No doubt.
And he's you know telling him, he's like, I love you, brother. I wish you were here. And he's like, I am here. And he shows it. It was like it was the closure that this Loki was always looking for from his family. You know, seeing his father die. He hadn't seen that yet. This version hadn't seen that yet. Seeing his mother die. He hadn't seen that yet. Seeing himself die. He hadn't seen that yet. Or so he was like, he went through the whole stage of emotions like, fuck, they really loved my ass despite everything I did.
Exactly.
They really did love me. and this was the path my life took. Imagine if I, didn't take that path, and knowing that they love me, and I actually was a good guy, and I did all this stuff, So seeing, especially the scene with him and his mother, and then seeing him and his brother talk, and he's just like, "Oh wow, like, wow, I've been such an asshole all this time."
Yeah,
know, and here it is. My brother still loves my ass. He still loves me.
Yeah, but you know what though? If you don't get me wrong, this is the MCU, and they take some, they give some, take some, they give some. Mm-hmm. If you completely turn Loki into a good guy, what would you really have? I get where they're going at, but dude, Loki's been a thorn in Thor's side for years.
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden the MCU try to soften him up. I get it. It's so much. They got so much wiggle room, so much leverage.
He's very likable. He's playing it very likable, despite everything else.
He's a motherfucker. He's hell. He did a great job, but I kind of like where it's going, but it ain't over yet. Because Loki, he up to some shit. He gonna do something.
Yeah, he's the god of mischief. You can't deny that.
Exactly. He ain't the god of kindness. Goddamn it. He's the god of mischief.
There are some things that this show or this episode answered a lot of questions, but it asks a lot of them. For me, one of them is I want to know what the hell that bet was that he lost with Thor, that he had to pose as DB Cooper.
No doubt.
I want to know what was the bet he had with Thor that he lost.
Yeah,
I want to know.
Yeah.
So that was funny. It was like you could tell he still got a kick out of that. Very James Bond.
James Bondish.
Yeah, very James Bond. And I'm like, dude, when they're taking the ticket, they get in there and they have to take a ticket to get a line.
Oh, who? You know what, Chris? I hate to interrupt you. I'm wondering, like, how are these people keep creating these new timelines that don't have access to something like the Tesseract or something? Did the Tesseract trigger? You know what I'm saying? How did that normal dude when he was coming at time like, my father is, and then next thing you know, he ain't take the ticket and boom, he was reset.
I'm not taking the ticket.
So reset. So it's reset death, or it's reset. Sound like it actually that you go back to your original timeline and you don't have no knowledge of what you just did.
That's a question. That's a good question.
That's what I want to know too. Because he's the Loki's boom here, and he's like, he was you know what I'm saying?
Let me find this motherfucker. Let me find this damn ticket.
But the fact that it was how I feel about WandaVision. Now, out of these 3 series, I just got a feeling this is going to be the hardest one. Because even though it was kind of slow, it's just like you said. To me, I found it very intriguing. The way they pulled it in, started Avengers Tower, started right there in Endgame when they went back and they just played it out. But it's so, it was intriguing. I want to, okay, what's going on? And how did old girl from Lovecraft Country just house him like that? Loki is not weak like
she
that.
Was
Where
housing
did
the
she
shit
come
out
from?
of him, wasn't she?
Yeah, what planet did she come from when she just jacked him up, and then the rest of them, because they can't be all humans. Are they humanoid? Where did they come from?
That's a good question, because even the guy behind the desk, like when Loki threatened him, he's like, I want the Tesseract, or I'm gonna gut you like a fish. And he's like, what's a fish? And he was like, how do you not know what a fish? He's like, I've been behind a desk all my life. I'm like, so it makes you question, what are the TVA? Not just who are they, but what are they? Like, are they born? Is there a clone room or something? I don't know. Is there a room where they're just made and like the minute they come out the vat, this is what you do, no questions asked. Yeah, this is your job. You have the knowledge to do what your job is. That's it.
Yeah. And what's their strength level, man? Because I'm just like, dude, man. And it's brought me back to the first Avengers was when told her Black Widow told Cap, you can't handle you can't handle. Cap couldn't really handle Loki, but the way they handled Loki, That's why I was like, damn, they just whooped his ass like it was.
Yeah, like they're outside the realm of just freaking everything.
Yeah, so that does that include strength as well?
It's I mean, it makes you look back at a lot of stuff. Like take Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Doctor Strange, if you listen to him and when he first meets Tony Stark and he's talking to him, he says, I'm supposed to be protecting this reality.
No
so
doubt.
does Stephen Strange have knowledge of the TVA and just doesn't speak of it? You know what I'm saying? Because he knows. He's just
does the ancient one.
Does the ancient one know? Does the ancient one know? So it is. There's a lot of questions that's going to be asked. And for those who are going to listen to the show later or even watching it now or later, it makes you wonder when you look back at the past show or past movies and look at some of the dialogue, like the ramifications that play into everything now. It was like this is why the MCU is so hard right now.
No doubt.
Like the stuff that they're coming up with, like perfect example. Cap taking the stones and putting them back. Selfish. And how did they end? You said it's selfish.
I'm gonna keep saying it. Somebody brought that up. They brought that up, Chris. They brought that up.
Yeah, they did.
Because what he did. And somebody had a
they said it was supposed to do. They said they were supposed to do that. That's why we didn't interfere, because they were supposed to do that. And I'm like, okay, let's move on.
But see, check it out. A cat pointed out when Loki was walking in, and like I said, you know how with the Easter egg crap, that was agent old girl,
Peggy Carter. Yeah,
was so Peggy Carter. Why would she be there unless Cap did? So that's why I said Cap's move. What Cap did was I don't think was supposed to happen. So now will we get some kind of was that Peggy Carter they brought in there?
That's another question. Like they did it so fast. It's literally a blink scene. It's a blink if you're missing. It's because you're so busy trying to catch everything else. And for the record, if you watch any of these shows, put the captions on, because
no doubt. You're right.
There's stuff that you might hear and you're gonna miss.
Yeah,
the scroll. And number one, before
I missed that. I had to come back.
Yeah. It's just a scroll. It has nothing to do with Secret Invasion. It's just a scroll. It's basically headlining that the TVA is everywhere.
Exactly.
They are all over the place.
We don't know that though, Chris. We don't know that though.
We don't.
It's a reason that scroll. He's there for a fucking reason.
Oh yeah, they're all there for. I just want to know who the guy was that was saying, "Do you know who my father is?" I'm like, I don't even know who the hell you are. Maybe
exactly.
I need to know who you are to know who your daddy is. I need to know these things. Yeah. But I love the set designs. These are great set designs. Okay. No. Because these are very, I don't want to say primitive because that's too strong of a word, but this is very dated equipment that they have on deck that does very outside the realm things. Like
exactly
that little computer that Morbius was working on did this whole thing and showed this entire timeline. I'm like, it looks so ancient. It looks so 60s. It looks so 1950s, 1960s. But it does this. The color scheme is very brown, gold, just dated, just very dated, but it does all this. I can't even say futuristic because there isn't.
No, but it was futuristic because it put a project. I mean, the projector real was, but the technology is like you said, they mixed in the two. And the printer. What about the printer? The printer was like,
it was an old school printer.
Yeah, but it was saying everything he said. Sorry, right there. What? This is absurd. And I'm like, the way they mixed it, the writer, I can't think of the boy's name, man. The writing so far, I love it, dude. I just love it. It's intriguing, even though it's kind of slow, not action packed yet.
It's not. Yeah, it's the type of burn that it's giving. It's a good slow burn because you're like, oh God, what's going on? Who are you people? What are you doing here? Why is this happening? How did this happen? I'm like, wait a minute, and it's happening in a pace that it's not too fast and it ain't too slow, and you're catching everything. And where and like I said, they got right to it when they answered the questions. Like, okay, you've seen Loki disappear with the Tesseract in Endgame. Let's pick it up from there. This is our recap. This is the recap you get. Boom, 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 boom.
Exactly.
You know, so I love that they're doing it that way, and they didn't waste any time.
No doubt.
And then they got
and
right
they
to
gave
it.
me almost an hour. Not no 5-minute bullshit.
Yeah, they gave you an hour, and I'm just like, very well sold, you know. And I love how when he's in front of the judge, and he's just like, he's it's typical Loki. He's talking, he's real cocky. He goes to do his move, and I'm like, nah, that ain't working.
He's trying to use his powers.
They just said that ain't working. That ain't working, bro. That's a whole nother form of erectile dysfunction, brother. That ain't working right here. Like,
no doubt.
There ain't nothing. There ain't no blue diamond you can take to fix this problem.
Like, no doubt. So, and then, you know, like he told him, who's this guy? We going now. They threw another Easter egg out there saying that this might be the female version of Loki, that he was able to put his essence in and take over her body. You know, at the end when they try to reset the timeline, and that Loki that just put their ass ablaze.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that's a female.
Right.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, I've always, this is coming from a standpoint of somebody who's read the comics.
No doubt.
I've always wondered, like, how did they explain? Because he, even in the comics, he was a female at one point.
This is true. I read it right with you, bro.
And I've always chalked it up to, like, he's the god of mischief. He's just it's an allure. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. This is what he feel like doing. This is what he's doing. You know, and I just chalked it up to that. So I would love to see, and if that's the case for the show, I would love to see their explanation for it. Because I've seen somebody before, I had a discussion with somebody before, you know, some of the shows that they come up with and some of the films that they have coming out, you know, people, you know, I always hear the first thing that comes out, oh, I don't know about that. And I said, look, dude, it's been 10 years. They ain't been feeding us no bullshit.
No doubt.
Like you might have, one might be weaker than the other, but at the same time, 24 films. Now we're looking at 3 shows.
No doubt.
Where's the weakness at? You know, where's the weak?
Yeah.
You might not like one more than the other, but you can't agree. They should have been fired from day one.
No doubt.
You know, they all have a purpose. So I like what they're providing, you know, and this is why I call Kevin Feige the blueprint master. He's a freaking chess master. Like, he has this thing on lock, and he's saying, and he gets it. You know, I heard a conversation with one of the art directors that works for the movie division of Marvel, and he said I heard he was on Fat Man Beyond with Kevin Smith, and he was saying how in Mark Evanier, when they were talking about Kevin Feige would hold these meetings.
Okay.
And it's like an all-inclusive meeting. Everybody comes to the meeting. And you want to. This ain't no boring meeting. You want to come. So they in the meeting, and he's taking the notes, and Kevin Feige's talking about the stuff they have coming up, the setups they got going, what they want going on, and everything else. And the art director, you know, he works for Marvel. And he's like thinking to himself, he gets it. He gets it. He understands what it is that is needed, what's going to look good on screen, what's going to look good translation wise from the character's book origins or whatever to the film, and he gets it. And that's essentially what fans like ourselves have been looking for quite a while. You know, we want this. You know, I always use the analogy of Ultron. In the comics, Hank Pym created Ultron. You know, Hank Pym was just all he has all these degrees and everything else, and then he creates Ultron, and you never question it. But as you get older, it makes a little more sense when you see on film that Tony Stark is the guy that creates Ultron. It makes a little more sense, because guess what? Tony Stark deals with AI. Why wouldn't he be the one? It makes sense. You know, So changes in the storyline or changes in the origins are like, they make sense. They're just not made to be made. Let's do it because we're trying to include all these people. Like, no, we're making the change because it makes sense to make that kind of change.
And it kind of, fits the times. It's like they're not doing this for me and you when we was kids no more.
Right.
They incorporating different pieces, and now they're coming out with a new because they want to capture the newer generation.
Right. They're trying to keep they grabbing a newer generation, but they're grabbing an older generation at the same time.
They got me by the balls right now. I'm like, damn, I'm like, right. I'm along for the ride.
I've always said I'm Marvel's bitch. I can't help that. I just can't. It is what it is.
Like they tricking me out. I'm on the street, dog, trying to get money. So I can see this.
So I mean, let's face it. When Captain America and Winter Soldier ended, and we had that long stretch, boy, we were looking like Tyrone Biggums from Dave Chappelle. We like, y'all got any more of them Marvel shows coming out, baby? Woo! We were fiending. We was just like, man, we had got used to that week by week. It was a nice little stretch when we had some time. We were dealing with a pandemic. We're coming out of it, and we got stuff to look at now. Oh, and the stuff that and I read another article last week, and it was on the show last week where Marvel has at least 10 films in one form of production or another.
Yeah.
And I'm looking over at WB like, what the fuck are y'all over there doing?
Dude, DC, I'm gonna tell you what, DC, as far as they animate,
always top notch.
But the movies Aquaman was cool. I like Aquaman. I like how they shot that. Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman was cool. That the 84
use a lot of words. Bad pacing.
You know what I'm saying? And then now Shazam, I knew Shazam, I guess Shazam did decent, but now what they're doing with The Rock, and they just can't get it right when it comes to the movie aspect of what's on screen in the DCU. Yeah. But I'm just like, but Marvel be knocking it out the park.
It was like, what worked for the first couple films, keep that formula and work it out. And they've managed to, they've tried everything at this point, and it's worked. They did a tech movie with Iron Man. Iron Man never been on film.
Mm-hmm.
We get him, knocks it out the park. Exactly. Now let's do Captain America, because the last round of Captain America we had never even made it to the theaters, and it wasn't that great. Mm-hmm. But look what we got. So now we got our period piece, knocked it out the park. All right, now let's introduce Thor. Now we got our fantasy film, knocked it out the park.
No doubt.
So,
these cats are batting like Barry Bonds, dude.
Yeah. So now they clean. Now they cleaning house, and then they said, "All right, we got all of this. We introduced these little pieces. Throw the team movie at them. Oh, here we go. Got this one. Clean house again." So I was like, "What's next? What's that? Let's give them the space opera. Let's give them some folks they don't even really think about or even heard of. Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Galaxy."
Knocked it out the park.
When that, I was like, and I asked myself, why did they just jump and do that? And then after I love Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I'm saying? What's our boy from what's that? The Office Parks and Rec. Platt.
Yeah.
When dude he opened that scene up and they was like, hey, I love that scene. Come and get Joe. And then he had the little lizard. I was like, it was just crazy. I was like,
it was the greatest thing. And I'm just like, I'm here for all of that.
Yeah.
And they just kept going. And by the time they got to SpiderMan, and I love the line they gave Tom Holland for him to say, I'm not going to go too much in my origin story. It's too much to talk about. Somewhere in that line, he doesn't even bore, because guess what? You know it already. We've seen Spider-Man on film. Even if you've never read a book, you've seen Spider-Man on film so many times. You don't need the origin story anymore. It's not necessary.
Chris, that's the only thing that's, to me, I'm not happy with the Spider-Man Homecomings. The Spider-Man movies, to me, one of my favorite characters of all time, growing up as a kid. Spider-Man. and and they've tinkered with it a little too much. How many Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland? How many goddamn Spider-Mans? Come on, dog. And then he get older. Now he's a teenager again. He get older, he's a teenager again. Come on, man. Stop.
You got to think about it, though. You got to think about it. Disney doesn't own the Spider-Man franchise. Sony still owns it. Disney made a deal with Sony that Sony could not turn down due to the fact Sony dealt with some stuff.
But Disney gonna get their way. In the end, Disney gonna get their way.
They literally told them, they said, look, we will help fund this film. We will help you produce this film. We want the credit. We want to be able to use the character. You get some of the funds. And they just Sony's no hoe. Sony ain't no hoe. They just like,
no doubt.
They ain't stupid. They just like, you know what? We need this win right now. So yes.
Yeah.
We'll make that deal with you.
Push Stan Lee, kept pushing him until to the abyss of obscurity. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like, dude, granted, he got cake, but at the same time, I've always felt like, let's say me and you create something right now.
Right.
I'm going to take it to my grave before I let you just take over. Even in a good way, I'm going to find, well, you can just be the associate director or producer or what? Me and Jack Kirby, we created these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden to see, that's why I still feel to this day that Stan Lee's rolling over in his grave. He might be like, damn, they take it to another level, but at the same time, I still feel like they just took over, man. Financially.
Well, see, a lot of you said financially, possibly financially, because see, that's a real sketchy area.
We went there before me. We went there.
Yeah, it's I hear the stories a lot when it comes to comic properties. They're really sketchy stories. The Siegel and Schuster is a prime example of a really sketchy deal. These, for those who don't know,
even with Todd McFarlane, when he was even that one. You know what I'm saying?
For those who don't know, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster were the creators of Superman.
No doubt. Right here
in Cleveland. And they sold the properties of Superman for I think it was like $200. Now you figure at that time, $200 is a lot of money. But
call it how you want to call it, bro.
This was the 30s and 40s,
Exactly.
$200 is pretty much a lot of money back then.
No doubt.
$200 is a bill right now. We get $200, we try to hold on to that shit. Right? So, and look how popular the Man of Steel is now.
Wow.
For the person who's never read a Superman comic a day in their life, they know who Superman is.
True. He is a household name.
He's a household name. So, the family of the Schuster, that's why the Joe Shuster and Siegel Society was created, because they were like, look, we're seeing these shows, we're seeing these cartoons, we're seeing these movies, we're seeing these toys and all this merchandise being created, and our name, our family name should be seeing something.
Exactly.
Y'all just making it. Y'all ain't checked with us. Y'all ain't seen nothing with us. You just making it. They finally are tagged in just about everything. We get credit. So now it's like you can't make it unless you talk to the people in this society, into this group.
No doubt.
And it's only fair. And when you mentioned Todd McFarlane, this is why he left Marvel to go over to Image. For those who don't know, Image is a creator-owned comic book company. It's now one of the big three. You have DC, Marvel. Yep. You have DC, Marvel, and now Image. Image, Image birth The Walking Dead. Image birth Spawn, which was one of their top sellers. And The Walking Dead, Invincible. Now money. You can't go nowhere without hearing Robert Kirkman or Todd McFarlane. Because they were part of this. I think it was 8 of them. They're part of the starting 8 that started that company, because Todd McFarlane created Venom. For those who don't know, and
that's right, let them know.
So this is why Spawn looks so similar.
Carnage too. Then he get credit for Carnage too, though, right?
Yes, he does. He does.
Yep. That's right.
So this is
Let 'em
why
know.
when you first seen Spawn, he looked so similar. His earlier, look was so similar to how Venom and Spider-Man looked with that mask and those big eyes. That's why it was so close, because that's his style, and that was his creation. So it's really sketchy when you have a creation and you don't get the credit for it, whether it's monetary or otherwise. So what a lot of people don't know is, like with Jack Kirby gets a lot of this fucking credit too. For a lot
crossed
of these,
over, man. He kind of crossed your boy Stan Lee over though.
Yeah,
he did the Allen Iverson on his ass.
Yeah, they had. Well, see,
here's
the thing. Here's the story between Stan and Jack. I would love to to be at a heaven's table right now to talk to these two legends.
There, yeah.
they Stan has always been very outspoken. He's always been like flamboyant, very easy to talk to, very animated. That's his style. That's his persona. That's his personality. You don't break that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And
real quick though, but I not to cut you off, but I got to give it up because a lot of people, when it comes to the Black Panther, Storm, Bishop, those type Black characters that was almost unheard of. Luke Cage, people like y'all got to understand. Stan Lee was very open to stuff like that. So
he's what we call in the community has a full on front seat in the barbecue.
No doubt. And he can get all the chicken and ribs.
Stan had a full front seat to the barbecue because he was very much a part of equality.
Exactly.
For everybody. He was very much about it. He did not take that bullshit lightly at all. He was like, if you had hate in here, there's a speech that he does, and it tears me up every time because they did it for when Marvel did this little commercial when they were showing all the films they had. They show all the films they did and all the films that got come
at the end.
Yeah, and that speech does it every time because it's true. He was like, you see that guy over here, that's your brother. You see that woman over here, that's your sister. He says, we're all part of the same group. We're all part of the same community. And it's true. And he always felt like that. He was always like that. And between him and Jack, they were very much like everybody has a voice. Everybody deserves to be heard. Everybody deserves to be represented. So the falling out between Jack and Stan wasn't so much property stuff. It was just the way things went. Stan was getting recognized more. Stan was out there in front of the cameras a lot. He was really selling it. Jack wasn't like that though. Yeah. He wasn't an out front kind of guy. He was you could tell him something. He boom, 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 boom. There it is.
Yeah, but they did have a reckoning. They did. And he felt some type of way and he walked out.
Yeah, exactly.
When he was like, look, I'm doing this. I'm willing to. When Stan was like, I'm willing to. I watched that. That on the MC. And he was like, yo, look, I'm doing this. And then Jack was like, nah, it's too late. It's not. He tried to mend the fence. But
I think things were so far. Yeah, the things were so far off at that time. And it took time. It took time because they eventually made up. It took time. They did. They took time. And I'm glad that they did and squashed the beef. And because their wives actually were the ones that stated, like, yeah, there was this party and I think Stan was there and then Jack shows up and they it started with the radio station.
I remember watching that. Yep.
Stan was on the radio station doing something and Jack calls in and, they kind of have their little talk there. And then like sometime later, a couple years down the line, it was a party and Stan was there and Jack shows up and they squashed the beef. And I seen that same special you're talking about. I seen that too. Once again, teared up because I was just like two legends that I really adored and looked up.
I felt some type of way about Stan because it was very revealing. Yeah, about growing up as a kid, loving Marvel, loving DC, and like, oh damn, Stan Lee did that shit. Like that's fucked up. Yeah, but like you said, things happen. You got things happen between friends, and you always want the best for your people. But at the same time, you always have differences.
It's the business.
Yeah, it's the business, but at the same time, you know, you try to come back together. Some people take the maturity level; they need more time, you know, to understand like what's going on. And you know, I remember they was showing pictures. These two, they had brown hair. Then all of a sudden it started getting gray, you know, like, and it took them until they started getting gray hair to be like, yo, come on, man, let's make it work.
That's that classic trope. That's that classic trope. Like, they argued, and then when it got to the point where, thank God it happened before it got way past,
no doubt,
the point of no return. But I'm glad that it came down to it. I got a Jack picture that I'm trying to get framed to put up to sit next to stand behind me. But I'm glad that they squashed it out. But a lot, like you said, a lot of these two guys and Joe Simon and several Steve Ditko and several others were really the creators of what we see right now.
Exactly.
You know, the Captain America was Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. Black Panther was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Exactly.
SpiderMan was Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. You know, so seeing these creations on screen, I don't mind Stan being there because he has a hand in it. You know, and the other ones aren't around, you know, but they do get the tag, you know, they do get the mentions and the credits and everything. And just seeing their creations and knowing that a lot of their creations, this is why Marvel resonates with a lot of people, is because their characters are very much relatable. Spider-Man is at the top of that damn list.
Of course.
Because you cannot tell me I can't relate to Spider-Man. Are you serious? You mean the guy who was a nerd in school, couldn't get the girl?
No doubt. Got beat up by the jock.
Couldn't keep the job when he got the powers. Trying to help his aunt pay the rent. Lost his parents at a young age. Dealing with all this drama. You want to be inside the suit and do what he do, because he literally was two different people. When Peter Parker is outside that suit, and I said it on the IG live interview we had with T Stunning Spidey on Instagram earlier tonight, when you just dealing with Peter Parker, no confidence, always doubting, feeling down about himself, questioning everything, can't figure out the relationship. Can't figure out the money for the rent. Can't figure out how to keep the job. Can't figure out how to keep going with the job. Dealing with stuff with his sick aunt. Dealing with, I don't know how old Aunt May is at this point, but just dealing with that's a lot.
It's very relatable. It's very relatable.
But then he puts that suit on. He wisecracking. He doing backflips. He talking trash. He doing it all comes out, and it was just like everything he was holding in comes out, and you can relate to that. You know, Captain America is the guy, and I'll say it and I'll keep saying it. Captain America is the guy we fucking need right now.
Yeah. We
need that dude right now.
Yeah.
He's another dude who gets a front seat at the barbecue. But he gets the front seat at the barbecue. Because Steve gets it too. Steve was all about equality. He literally is the epitome of what this country really should be.
Yeah. He's
across the board.
The Marvel version of Superman. When they saw it's the Boy Scout. Here comes the Boy Scout.
The big He's even all the way up to having Sam as his partner, not his sidekick, as his partner.
No doubt.
You know, and that's why Sam always respected him. And in the comics and in the film.
Yeah.
You know, so he was like, so people, and speaking of which, people wonder, why did Steve give Sam the shield? Because what Steve seen in Sam is what he's seen in himself.
No doubt.
Sam is just like Steve without the serum. He's just like him without the serum. Watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier to see if I'm lying.
If y'all watching, if you have not watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, I liked it. You know, a lot of people feel it was too much of a political stance, especially at the end when Sam was telling everything about when he gave the speech and you saw about Isaiah and the black first black
I gotta answer for those who think. I got a big answer for those.
Why
who
they
think
hating, dog? Why they hating? I mean,
because
like you
for
said,
people,
we talked about this.
Yeah,
you know,
for fans,
it goes back.
For quote unquote, for quote unquote fans who think that comics are too political, you have missed the mark. Comics have been and always will be political. The man we're talking about right now, first appearance on a cover was him punching Hitler. Seriously. So don't talk to me about what's political and not.
They don't know nothing about that though, bro.
Yeah, so it's always been political. That speech that Sam gives resonates so hard. So hard. It's a shame that it still goes on and it still says when that senator says you don't understand, he says you're telling the black man who's wearing red, white, and blue what I don't understand. And I was like, mic drop.
Yeah. But like I said, they hate it. A lot of people hate it. Like, we're being entertained. Can you just keep politics out of comics? And like, dude, come on, man. Y'all don't understand.
The X-Men were literally a antithesis of what goes on with racism.
Exactly.
And bigotry. That's what X-Men were. It still is.
Exactly.
So no, we can't keep politics out of it. And nor will. If you look, you want politics out of it, you can probably go and read, I don't know, Buffy.
Damn.
I don't know. I read Buffy. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but
it's a multifaceted. Marvel is multifaceted when it comes to, gender, age, different characters, different likenesses, different cultures. That's what it is. And like we said earlier, that's what Stan Lee he embodied that.
Yeah.
So
he got it. He got it.
Because it's 2021 and you wearing a mask, you getting mad. Shut your ass. You know what I'm saying? For real. I'm just saying, I'm a couple of years, I'm about to be 50 in a few more years. And I like everything. I like, man, we know this way away from Loki. But
see, this is how the show it's Blur's eye view. This is what we do.
Yeah, it's Blur's eye view. And it needs to be said, but you can't hate on certain pioneers of this craft. What I've loved from the day I came out the coaching. What I've loved and what I collected and what I've read and watched, and you gotta love it, man. And you just can't hate on it. It's just other people do other things to twist it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's how they want to tell the story. How do we tell the story to, one, make it relatable, two, make it believable enough, and three, to make it entertaining? And this is how you do it. This is an art form. It's an art form. It's a modern art form, and they're talking about, you talking about escapism. It's escapism, but it's helping you deal.
No doubt.
It's literally helping you deal with a lot of stuff.
Spider-Man, he was broke. I'm broke. So what you saying?
I know what that feels like.
We know.
He was like, "How am I gonna make the rent? I gotta deliver these pizzas." And it's crazy because you got a guy who can literally cover like 6 blocks in less than 10 seconds. And he's like, I got to deliver these damn pizzas. Right. I can't get there in time, no matter what. Lost another damn job.
Yep. He's like, can't get it right. Can't right. Jangling.
We don't have a Bruce Wayne in our life to turn around and say, the bank bought the house. Well, who bought the bank? I bought the bank.
No doubt.
cool move, but we ain't got that. So
and it's crazy because Tony, he still ain't get him. It's like, when that scene came up, when that scene came fucking with a soldier, and Sam and his sister was trying to get the loan. He's like, well, aren't you an Avenger? Don't you have that? I'm like, he technically should have access to something.
You just got free. You just got free room and board. That's what
I just stayed really the goddamn planet, and I can't say this punk ass shrimp boat. What kind of shit is this? You know what I'm saying? And I was, I'm sitting there watching episodes like, man, some bullshit. But
because it's not a job that is not. Here's an Avengers paycheck.
No doubt. See, me and you be like, look here, man. Hey, player, black man gotta get paid. You know what I'm saying? You want me to do this? That's how, but
Like, look,
like
Tony, I need to have a sit down with you, brother. I need like about 10
we got-
grand. I need like 10 grand. That's all I need.
I need this paper. But
I
Sam
know you got it.
Yeah. Sam wasn't that type of dude. And it's like you said, why he chose him, because Sam wasn't that type of dude. I'm gonna make everything I do on my own merit.
Right.
And he wasn't that type of dude. But when in the long run, come on now, me and you would have been like, hey man, I need that money, bro. I mean, come on now, dog.
Like, I
just got knocked down out the sky. I need paper. My family, we gotta eat. And I'm risking my life. I'm coming out of portals, and I'm gone. And I can't get paid. You know what I'm saying?
I need something, not this deal. Come on.
Yeah.
I done came back. I killed one of them big ass monsters for you with my wings and everything.
But that's the storyline, man. And that's
but suspension of disbelief. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Loki, I am really looking forward. I really got to watch this for a third time because the scene where
I'm about to watch it right now.
Yeah, like when he's walking, he's like, "This isn't real," and then he looks out there. It's beautiful. Number one, because you're just like, there is so much to take in. Like the art. That's why I said the art design for this show is fantastic.
Exactly.
They did it for Thor Ragnarok. They've done it for a lot of their films, like Thor Ragnarok. If you were wondering where all these colors were popping up and these weird designs, that's Jack Kirby all day.
No doubt.
Pay attention. That's Jack Kirby all day. So their art design for this was just like Loki, mind blown. Just you're just like, damn. And when he really realizes the stones mean nothing, the Tesseract means nothing.
Shit.
He's like, is this the greatest power? And yet I can't control this. I can't fathom it. I can't do anything. All I can do is accept it.
Yeah, but me and you both know it's not.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Oh no,
it's not. So if
there
is
so
right now,
much outside the realm of possibility when it just comes to Marvel in itself. You're just like, and I think the only one who gets it and doesn't speak on it is Doctor Strange. He's just like,
no doubt.
I'm just in charge of this reality.
I don't even think he
knows.
I don't think he, beyond. So let me ask you this real quick. So what if the one pops the fuck up?
Wouldn't that be some shit?
Wouldn't that be some shit? It's over. It's over.
You're just like.
So if you don't know, I'm gonna say it real quick. The one,
like your whole mind is just shot.
The most omnipotent being that basically clicks fingers and it'll be total blackness in the Marvel universe. You got Egon, you got these people make Silver Surfer look like dogs.
You got the Beyonder, the In-Betweener. You have so many.
Yeah, the Watcher,
the Watcher. Oh God! Well, we got to see Watchers. We got to see them.
And what they do?
Watch. They just listen to Stan.
Yeah,
and tell the story.
So many powerful beings. As a kid, the cosmic type shit. Always kind of like, damn, that's a little too much. Because what is the point if you got this one guy that can do this and it's over? And I ain't talking about no motherfucking Infinity Stone.
Yeah,
they could have shut that shit down. The Eternals is coming out. You got cats that are so
outside of what they're outside the understanding of
eternity.
We got eternity. That's the other one.
Yeah, you got, man. People don't even know, y'all.
Like we just learning about the Eternals and the Celestials. We ain't even got there yet.
Yeah, Google that shit if you don't know, nigga. You watching this show? Google some shit, and you will see even more powerful characters in the Marvel cinematic. In the Marvel period.
Yeah, I mean they're so outside the realm of understanding, like that you'll probably just be standing there like Loki was and just be like,
yeah, I'm gonna say this for Circle of the Nerds too. Like when we do the show, because we do. I come on here to get my funky off on Marvel, and like when me and you be talking, it's like Ventus and Tommy D on Star Wars. They go in, so I hope the show. I was like, y'all shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But because that's I'm a Star Wars fan, that's their thing. But me and you get on here with the Marvel shit, it's
this is the pool.
They don't know.
This is the pool right here. This is the pool right here.
But it's just crazy, man.
And so I I'm really enjoying what they are providing for us. And
I love
good Lord, this ride, like I said, Kevin Feige already said in the article this week that the ramifications of what's happening in Loki, not Captain America Winter Soldier, not WandaVision, Loki. Mm-hmm. Everything that's happening in Loki will change the MCU going forward. That should be enough for you to say, oh shit.
Yeah. I can see it already though. I see it. It has this everything is playing out.
Mm-hmm.
Even before I heard that, I see it like, wow, it's
a mind blower.
Yeah.
I will This is why I love it, because I love not knowing, but knowing just enough.
Exactly.
And just saying, oh, they got some shit coming.
Yeah.
And somebody say what? I'm like, I don't know. But it's getting ready to happen. It's gonna blow your mind.
They haven't even tied X-Men and Deadpool and
they haven't even touched that.
They ain't even touched it like that. They ain't scratched. They still got fleas.
Mm-hmm.
And we got powder.
So for those ones who's out there saying when the X-Men are coming, when Deadpool, give it some time.
You might not ever see. You might not even worry about the shit. You good.
All you know is just if you really want to know what's going on with Deadpool, follow Ryan Reynolds' Twitter, because they talk about somebody who's quick to give you something and take it away. Because he's the reason why we got Deadpool in the first place. But they are cooking something up, because he did put because they own Fox. They own Fox now. Yeah, so
but that's theirs. But those are technically in the MCU. Those are different Earths.
Yeah,
so the multiverse.
Oh, you're talking about the multiverse version? Yeah. Because he showed a picture of a backpack with Deadpool mask in it, and there's like a script or something sitting off. Something's being brewed up. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Not saying I that's all I'm saying.
Alert.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. They got something on the stove brewing up. And I'm gonna put it to you like this. You don't touch them beans until them beans get that gravy going. That's right.
And if you need some rice, we got that too.
We got that too. So before we get out of here, man, Deacon, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me. Check me on YouTube at TMDE, which is short for the Mr. Deacon Experience. Make sure you go to Circle of Nerds. You can catch us all Circle of Nerds and TMDE, YouTube, all the social media networks. It is what it is. Check the video, like and subscribe. I appreciate you. It is what it is.
All right. I am Chris Fury. You can catch me on at Blurred's Eye View on Instagram. You can also catch me at Chris.Fury1 on Instagram, which is my other page. You can catch me on TikTok, Chris Fury1. I'm killing it over there too. I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff coming up really soon on TikTok. Check out the new Adult Swim trend now. I'm loving that right now. You can also catch Blurred's Eye View live every Saturday on Facebook Live at 8:30 on Saturdays. We are always promoting the POC creatives in the field of comics and geekdom. And you can catch me with my co-host Candy B, Cosplay, and DC. And hell. This was the first episode of the second season of Blurred's Eye View After Dark, and this is the first episode of Loki we were talking about, amongst some other stuff dealing with Marvel and sometimes sometimes DC. It all depends. So until next time, I'm Chris Fury. You can catch me all the way over there on Facebook as well on Blurred's Eye View. And until next time, remember to educate yourself and others, entertain yourself and others, and most of all, encourage yourself and others. And until then, this is Chris Fury with Mr. Deacon. We're out.